Let's have a moment of silence, please, for Triss and his manhood. May it rest in ritual peace. Anyway, Lord of the Mysteries episode 5 is where things officially snap. The story isn't just dipping into dark magic anymore, we're knee-deep in spiritual warfare. Memory walking, dream invasions, cursed ships, power-hungry cults, and assassins built like MMO bosses. The story's pacing is intense, sure, but that's part of the thrill. There's no time to breathe because the world itself does not want you to feel safe. And even when the answers don't come right away, the mystery deepens in a way that keeps you hooked. This episode marks a shift. In this video, we'll break down the terrifying events aboard the Alfalfa, dig into Triss and the introduction of the Demoness Sect, look at how Lord of the Mysteries continues to reinvent its magic system, and check in on Klein's growing role in this world. We've got horror, action, lore drops, and more layered world building than most shows attempt in a full season. Make sure to stay to the end for theory updates, what we figured out so far, the new questions episode 5 raises from an anime-only aspect, and my thoughts on the growing Lord of the Mysteries fandom. Episode 5 wastes no time dropping us into something brutal. The Alfalfa incident might be one of the most disturbing sequences in the series so far. A ship full of crewmates who suddenly turn on each other in waves of madness and violence, triggered by some unknown spiritual force. It's grotesque, tragic, and deeply unsettling. But more than that, it's where the mystery in Lord of the Mysteries really begins to evolve. The animation is in top form here. From the crashing waves to the haunting color palette, every frame carries weight. The camera lingers on the aftermath long enough for it to sink in. What could have felt like a simple one-off case lands like a warning. Something deeper is unraveling beneath the surface, and no one knows how far it reaches. The visuals here are great, but I can't shake this feeling that the anime is skipping scenes or leaving stuff out. I would have loved to see more of the backstory of this ship. After the tragedy unfolds, we jump back a bit in time. Klein visits the divination club and meets Joyce Mayer's wife. During their conversation, he performs what seems to be a subtle ritual, likely amplifying his seer abilities. This allows him to foresee Joyce washing ashore, confirming that he's still alive. When that vision comes true and Joyce is found, he later is introduced to Klein, and Klein performs another ability, one we haven't seen until now. He steps directly into Joyce's final memories as a vivid reconstruction of real events. Through Joyce's eyes, he witnesses the descent into madness aboard the Alfalfa and pieces together what truly happened. It raises an important question: are there multiple ways to enter someone's mind in this world? We've seen Dali and Dunn both interact with people through dreams. Now Klein is doing something similar, but through the seer pathway. It suggests that mental or spiritual entry might be a broader ability shared across different paths. Whatever the case, his understanding of these powers is growing. His actions are proving that what Emperor Roselle said about the seer pathway may be far more formidable than anyone realizes. Hey there, looks like you've been caught in Dio Stan the World. While time's frozen, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you never miss any future content. Alright, time's up, back to the video. Episode 5 shifts into thriller territory with the introduction of Triss, a Sequence 8 assassin with terrifying precision and total control. He operates like a shadow, striking with calculated silence. From the moment he appears in Joyce Mayer's memory vision, his presence demands attention. We learn that Triss willingly underwent a sex change through ritual means to attain more power, fully embracing the twisted path of the Demoness Sect. That detail alone sets the tone for how far he's willing to go. In a world defined by danger and spiritual decay, he embraces the cost without a second thought. But it's the fight against the Nighthawks that really sells how dangerous he is. Trissa takes on 4 of them by herself, including Leonard, and she's only one sequence ahead. The power gap is immediate. Her movement is surgical, her attacks land with overwhelming force, and she never loses control of the fight. At one point, she nearly unleashes a full-body flame attack, something that feels like a spiritual equivalent to Amaterasu, Leonard barely being able to negate the effect. This battle isn't just a flex of strength, it's a reminder of how brutal the sequence system really is. Just one rank apart and the difference can feel insurmountable. Trissa overwhelms trained agents like they're in the wrong fight entirely. And the kicker, she's aligned with a group that barely gets introduced. The Demoness Sect doesn't get much screen time, but their impact is immediate, a cult defined by secrecy, gendered hierarchy, and spiritual corruption. And they just gained an assassin that even the Nighthawks can't stop. If Trissa was the opening move, what else is coming? Even with the chaotic pacing, episode 5 still finds time to show us how strange and diverse the world of Beyonders really is. And while Klein takes a step back in this episode, the rest of the cast picks up the slack. We get a better look at what combat between sequences actually looks like and how terrifying that power gap can be. Trissa, a Sequence 7 assassin, fights with complete control. She moves with precision, adapts instantly, and nearly takes down a group of trained Nighthawks solo. It's not just the technique, it's the confidence. She nearly lands a spiritual attack that looks like it would have turned Leonard into ash. And this is all while being just one sequence higher. The difference is staggering. Then there's Dun, who shows us a new ability that feels like a simple domain from Jujutsu Kaisen. Brief and concentrated, it protects him from Trissa. We get a real sense of what a high-ranking Beyonder can do when it matters. But let's be honest, the standout is still Leonard. I've been calling him Satoru Leonard at this point because the man walks around like he's in a completely different anime. He's brash, smug, and wildly confident, but you can't deny he has presence. Even against someone like Trissa, he doesn't flinch. There's this energy around him, like he's already seen how the fight ends. Whether it's earned or delusional, it's still unclear, but I'm sold either way. What stood out even more this episode was how different every Nighthawk feels in combat. We're finally seeing the show peel back layers, not just on power, but on personality through power. It's a subtle but effective form of world building. These aren't just different sequences, they're reflections of who these people are. And when they're thrown into chaos, like the fight with Trissa, those personalities flare in really telling ways. Before diving into new theories, I need to correct a couple of things from the last video. I talked about Klein offering advanced knowledge to Audrey, specifically about digesting potions. On first watch, I chalked it up to him mysteriously knowing too much. But while editing, I realized this wasn't unexplainable at all. That line about potion digestion, it's directly from Roselle's diary. My initial takeaway was only the information he learned about the seer pathway, but Klein picks this up, he remembers it clearly and applies it to the conversation. Another point of confusion was that closing scene with Dun. Initially, I thought it might have been a flashback or a symbolic dream sequence, but episode 5 confirms it was real. Dun was looking into Vincent's dream. That sequence is easy to miss. There's barely any dialogue and the visions transition so subtly that it doesn't announce itself. But it's there, and it confirms that dream diving, like memory walking, is part of this show's expanding toolkit for how information is revealed. And that leads us to today's updated batch of unverified anime-only speculation. I went back to episode 2. Leonard is listed as a Sequence 8 Midnight Poet, but there's no pathway name attached. That's weird. Every other operative has one. Even in episode 3, we're shown another Nightmare class agent with a clear Sleepless label in the subtitles. So why is Leonard the odd one out? Maybe it's a production oversight, or maybe it's deliberate. My tinfoil theory, Leonard belongs to a rare or restricted pathway that the Nighthawks aren't talking about. His attitude, calling himself the protagonist, his insane spiritual resistance, and the way he commands attention all feels like a setup. If we eventually learn he's tied to a forbidden lineage or a splinter group of sleepless with unknown rituals, I wouldn't be surprised at all. My next theory is about sacrifice and power. Triss undergoing a ritual sex change to climb the sequence ladder wasn't only a shocking reveal, it reframes the entire discussion around advancement. If that's the level of sacrifice required to evolve in the assassin pathway, keep me at Sequence 8. What other transformations await us in the other paths? New Beyonders risk death just from consuming a potion. Dali suffered spiritual erosion from routine missions. And now Triss alters his body permanently, willingly, for the sake of progress. The message is starting to click. The higher you go, the more of yourself you lose. It makes me wonder, how much further will characters be pushed? Will someone give up their memories, their humanity, their morality? The deeper this show goes, the more it starts to resemble a psychological gauntlet disguised as a supernatural power system. As for Dun, I've got a theory brewing, something big, but it's not fully cooked yet, so I'm saving it for the next video. All I have to say is Charles Xavier. For now, I'm just trying to stay afloat because Lord of the Mysteries keeps throwing out breadcrumbs that might actually be landmines. Lord of the Mysteries is officially in full swing. Episode 5 felt like a lore drop, a horror show, and an action movie all rolled into one. From the spiritual aftermath of the Alfalfa, to Trish's terrifying arrival, to Leonard putting on a protagonist performance, this episode hit every register, even if it didn't slow down to let you catch your breath. We're seeing how dangerous these sequences really are. The power gap between levels isn't just a stat boost, it's a spiritual chasm. And the way Klein is navigating this system, growing more capable with each step, is starting to feel both impressive and unsettling. Not because he's too strong, but because we still don't know what he's really becoming. I'll admit this series is starting to get under my skin in the best way. I can't tell if Klein is walking into greatness or being dragged towards something bigger than him, but either way I'm locked in. And on that note, shout out to the Lord of the Mysteries community. I had no idea how massive and dedicated this fandom really was. I really love seeing so many people engage with the same story, catching details I miss, and sharing their theories and excitement. That being said, I get the hype, but please don't be the fun police. Typing out entire plot summaries in the comments isn't helping anyone. I'm watching this as an anime only viewer, and so are a lot of other people. Writing full-on dissertations under a video isn't just going unread by me, it's also getting deleted in some cases. Don't waste your time. Let people enjoy the ride, the mystery is the point. If you've got theories of your own, keep it coded, drop a cryptic emoji or hint at something without giving it away, that's half the fun. Anyway, that's it for this one. Theories are brewing, suspense is rising, and I've got a whole done monologue ready to drop next time. Catch you in the next one.